Well, I did my best list, and for every best list, there's always got to be that worst list. Today I'm counting down the top 10 worst films of 2022. I am your host, Dylan Gable, and let's just get down to it. Let's get to my honorable mentions, or in this case, dishonorable mentions, shall we? Blacklight. The 355. Uncharted. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. The Bubble. Senior Year. Men. The Man from Toronto. Amsterdam. Tar. And Strange World. These movies were all ones I did not like, but they were not bad enough to make my top 10 worst of the year list. So without further ado, let's take these shitty movies back to hell where they belong. Number 10. Thor Love and Thunder. Yep, we're kicking off my list with an MCU film. Well, that's fucking depressing. Yeah, Thor Love and Thunder. It definitely did have some cool elements to it. I thought the final act was, for the most part, pretty fun. And whenever this movie does try to be a Thor movie, it is decently entertaining. But for the vast majority of it, this movie annoyed the living shit out of me. This is one of the worst comedies I have ever seen with a big budget like this. Holy shit. The humor never fucking landed for me. It's so goddamn annoying. I had to yell at this movie to shut the fuck up I don't know how many times. And it is cringeworthy. Yep, it is definitely the worst MCU film for me, and is the only time in my own makings of the top 10 worst movies of the year lists. I've been making my own worst list for a while, I've just never made videos of them. But this is the first time ever that an MCU film has ever made my bottom 10 films of the year list. So, wow. It's definitely worrying for me when it comes to the future. Well, we'll just see. Number 9. Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. Talking about a fucking snooze fest. Do you want a fucking Fantastic Beasts movie that doesn't have Fantastic Beasts in them? Well, you're definitely getting that with this fucking movie. And, all this movie really is about is wizard politics. Does 2.5 hours of wizard politics sound entertaining to you? If it does, I mean, you'll enjoy it, but for the rest of us, this movie was a fucking snooze. It was a waste of my goddamn time. Fuck this movie. Number 8. Disenchanted. Well, the first of the Disney Plus originals to make my list. And Disenchanted, a lot like fucking The Secrets of Dumbledore, this movie was just a huge bore. I liked the first Enchanted, and this movie just did not justify its existence. It doesn't have the passion that the first movie had, and yeah, it was just boring, and it's too goddamn long. This movie didn't need to be 2 hours, just over 2 hours, I think it was. Yeah, if you like the first one, you might. I don't even know if you'll like. I mean, I know some people like this one, and you know what? Good on them. I liked the first one, and I just did not care for this one. This movie didn't do it for me. That's why it's my number 8. Number 7. Jurassic World Dominion. Yep, anybody who knows me would probably have figured this would have made it on my worst list. God damn it, where do I begin with this one? The fucking story makes no sense. This movie made me lose brain cells. Even more so than the last one did, Fallen Kingdom. This movie has shit pacing. This movie is barely even about dinosaurs. It's about these fucking bugs. These fucking giant-ass locust things. Like, do we really come to these fucking Jurassic World movies for insects and boring-ass human characters? No, we come for fucking dinosaurs. Give us dinosaurs, please. And then all of a sudden, yeah, there will be parts in the movie where it's trying to be like Mission Impossible out of nowhere. And also, yeah, the Jurassic World cast, goddamn are they dull in this movie. And then there's that fucking clone kid who is just one of the most unlikable goddamn characters I have seen all year. Holy shit. They say this might be the last fucking Jurassic World movie. God damn it, I hope so. Number 6. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Netflix one. Oh boy. This movie does have some good kills. I'll give it that. The gore and the kills kind of made this movie at number 6 for me instead of a lot higher. But holy shit, everything else falls completely flat. This movie has obnoxious fucking Gen Z 2022 kind of dialogue. Where, like, they're all just a bunch of fucking college libtards and shit like that. Like, you get a ton of dialogue like that in this movie. And then there's that fucking character who was the sole survivor of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, this is a legacy sequel. And then the final act made me laugh so goddamn hard how fucking shitty it was. What they do to her character, I completely get why it pissed people off. I mean, yes, from a plot standpoint, it pissed me off too, but the way it goes down had me laughing in tears just how fucking garbage it was. This movie definitely fucking deserves a spot on this list because, man, is it bad. But it is kind of hilarious, so that's why it's just on my number 6. Number 5. The Munsters, Rob Zombie's latest film. Rob Zombie. I am one of your defenders. I like most of your movies. I do not like The Munsters, though. This movie was garbage. No wonder why it was not released in theaters. I mean, I respect it as a passion project. Like, yeah, Rob Zombie definitely had some passion here. The only thing is, it felt like he made it more for himself than he did for, like, Munsters fans, like fans of the original TV show. And this movie is so cheap looking. It was beyond laughable to me, and the humor is god fucking awful. I respect Rob Zombie for getting out of his comfort zone, but in this case, Rob Zombie, please go back to your comfort zone. You created your own niche audience, and I'm part of your audience, and just stick to what you do best. Come on. This movie did not work out. Number 4. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Okay, so here's a little backstory for Jeepers Creepers. I don't like any of the movies. The first 2 are well made. I just can't get into them. The third one was terrible. This is the worst one by far. Holy fuck. This movie was so bad they couldn't even film it outside. I'm not even kidding. Almost this entire movie was shot on green screens, and the green screen was terrible. And the sets, whenever they actually have sets, it is fucking laughable. I don't know how this movie was even greenlit by a fucking studio. I don't know how quality control fucking put this out. Approved of this. The acting is dog shit. The special effects are even worse. This movie shouldn't be watched by anyone. It is terrible. It is a waste of your goddamn time. It is baffling how this got approved by anybody. And thankfully, not a lot of people saw it, because, yeah, just avoid this movie like the plague. Number 3. Disney's Pinocchio. That's right, this is in my top fucking 3. Thankfully, these shitty Disney live-action remakes found their home on Disney+. Man, Robert Zemeckis directed this movie. One of the greatest directors of all time. How? This movie is so lazy. Everything that it tries to recreate from the original, it fails completely. Plus, you get to see Pinocchio looking at a pile of horse shit. I'm not even joking, folks. Pinocchio looks at a pile of horse shit. Wow. What great respect to Disney's legacy. I know, right? And let's talk about that final act. Where Pinocchio turns into Dash from The Incredibles, and then that terrible excuse for Monstro in the final act, and that dog shit ending. Oh my god, Pinocchio doesn't even become a real boy at the end. Yep, that says it all. Moving on. Number 2. It's Morbin time. Yep, Morbius is my number 2. Oh boy, yeah, this is one of the ones I did review, and yep, it hasn't gotten any better. Holy shit. I mean, you get to hear Morbius say, "You won't like me when I'm hungry." That's an actual line from the movie. Plus that fucking cringeworthy Matt Smith dance scene, and then all the terrible CGI, the terrible fucking lackluster action sequences, and one of the most uninspired performances from Jared Leto I have ever seen. Fuck. And, yeah, don't get me fucking started on those post-credit scenes. And lest we forget, this is the only movie ever that bombed in theaters twice. Yep, that just about wraps it up for Morbius. Well, anyways, let's just get to the movie that managed to be worse than this. And the number 1 worst movie of the year is Firestarter. Yeah. A remake to a movie that wasn't all that good to begin with. How does that happen? You remake a fucking mediocre movie, and that remake turns out to be fucking dog shit. Holy fuck. Not only was this movie fucking boring as shit, this movie was only 90 minutes, and it felt like 4 goddamn hours. And then all of a sudden, it's barely even a horror film. There's times where it's a drama, there's times where it's a horror movie, then all of a sudden it tries to be an X-Men fucking movie. All of the fucking cast phones it in here. Zac Efron. This is the worst performance I have ever seen from Zac Efron. He's fucking better in High School Musical than he is here. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Fuck. God damn it. Ugh. This is one of the worst Stephen King adaptations ever made. I'm really done talking about Firestarter and how much of a boring fucking waste of time this movie was. Ugh. Yeah, it is the worst. It's not only the worst horror film of the year, it is just the worst movie of the year, period, in my opinion. It is just the horror movie in quotation marks, with some of the worst case of identity crisis I have ever seen. Well, anyways, that wraps it up for the top 10 worst films of 2022. Sure hope you enjoyed this list. I can't wait to do my top 10 worst and best of 2023 next year. Oh boy. Just hopefully we don't get any movies next year that are as bad as Firestarter, or Morbius, or Pinocchio. The top 3. But yeah, who knows? Anyways, see you later.